White House and people are dying.
And Massachusetts health officials are issuing a new mandate.
Suspected cases must be immediately reported to the Department of Public Health. In the know. WPZ, Boston's News Radio. Always live, always local. This is Boston's News Radio. WBZ 1030, an iHeart radio station.
72 degrees in Boston at 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm Ben Parker. Here's what's happening. It created big problems on the Red Line, and for those who ride it, now some answers about the train derailment in June that caused commuter disruptions and criticism of the system. WBC's Karen Riegel is at the Transportation Building with more on what we have now learned. Karen.
You heard the slogan, nothing stops the train. Well, a train is made up of a bunch of small moving parts, and if something goes wrong with one of those small moving parts, something goes wrong with the next bigger part, and then the biggest part, the train itself, doesn't work quite as well anymore. That's what happened with the Red Line in June. That's according to the MBTA's inspectors who spoke before the Fiscal Management Control Board today. An axle became too brittle. That's because some smaller parts, something called a brush and a ring, didn't do their job, which was to divert electricity away from the axle. So the axle took too much electricity, became brittle, and snapped quite possibly at the worst possible time, derailing and taking out a ton of signals under a bridge. So it was difficult to remove the train and very difficult to repair a lot of these signals, many of which, quite frankly, Ben, are older than you and I put together. There's some good news here. There are going to be more inspections coming up. Not that the inspections initially were the problem, the chief said, but they're going to increase in some of these old trains. This train, in particular, went on the rails in 1969. So there'll be more visual inspections. This doesn't mean a visual inspection that you just touch the train and say, all right, you're ready to go. It's more like a car inspection. More ultrasonic inspections, where essentially you put the train to a giant MRI to make sure all of the parts are moving the way they're supposed to. And the amount of time this inspection is going to be done, the ultrasonic ones are being stepped up as well. They've been done every 2 years. None of them be done every year. At MBT headquarters, Karen Riegel, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
A deadly explosion in Farmington, Maine, likely caused by propane or natural gas. One firefighter was killed, several other people injured. Crews had responded to that building this morning, which was evacuated after the smell of propane gas was detected. The building is the central office for an organization that promotes support for people with developmental, cognitive, and intellectual disabilities. The name of the firefighter who died has not yet been released, though he is reported to be a longtime member of the Farmington Fire Department. The governor in May ordering flags in her state to be flown at half-staff until sundown Wednesday in honor of the firefighter killed and those injured. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey's office planning to formally oppose the bankruptcy petition of OxyContin manufacturer Purdue Pharma, and also plans to keep its own lawsuit against Purdue and the Sackler family alive, even as about 24 states agreed to a multi-billion-dollar settlement with the company. The roughly $10 billion settlement's been reached with 24 state attorneys general, and last night the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Attorney General Healey says the settlement with the other states doesn't require the Sacklers to forfeit their own profits.
The Sacklers have done a pretty good job of sucking the life out of Purdue. So Purdue is essentially a shell. As you know, the Sackler family, because they were on the board, because they were actually working in executive positions within the company, year after year, month after month, were draining millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from Purdue.
Healey first sued the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma in June of last year, alleging that they engaged in a deadly deceptive scheme to sell opioids in Massachusetts and profited from the drug epidemic they helped to create. Coming up, increased tensions in the Middle East after drone strikes hit Saudi Arabia, knocking out about half of their oil production. 3:33, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England, all-wheel drive traffic on the 3 is getting heavier for us, Mike.
It certainly is, yeah. It's shaping up to be a busy Monday on the roads here, Ben. The upper end of 128 North is all stop and go from Route 2 up to 4 and 225. And from Wynn Street up to 93, that makes it 40 minutes from the Pike up to 93. 93 North, slow going from the Dakin Bridge up through Medford, some stop and go up.
Oh, God.
and America's longest war, pointing to a militant attack that killed a different U.S. service member. He was supposed to take over the terrorist group his father once led, but there are indications that Al-Qaeda is in turmoil after the killing of Hamza bin Laden in a U.S. counter-terror operation.
Without offering up any details, the White House did say that bin Laden was killed in an operation in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region. The White House is framing his death as a major blow to the terrorist organization. His death will not only deprive Al-Qaeda of important leadership skills and the symbolic connection to his father, but it undermines important operational activities of the group. Even before bin Laden's death, the terrorist organization was struggling. In recent years, it faced military opposition by the U.S. and its allies, the death of its leader, Osama bin Laden, and competition for recruits and resources by ISIS and other terrorist organizations.
That is correspondent Mike Bauer. Tensions between the U.S. and Iran after drone strikes on Saudi Arabia's major oil facilities. President Trump now says it looks like Iran is responsible for the Saudi strike. He says he doesn't want war with anyone. Director Wei Zhang says it's unlikely the president and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani are going to get together next week and both the rest of that nation.
The White House is treading very carefully because they don't want to contradict the president, who just contradicted his own Secretary of State in a tweet last night when the president said the fake news media claims that he would be willing to meet with Iran without preconditions, when in fact it was Pompeo who stood at the podium at the White House briefing room just last week and said that the president was open to doing that with Rouhani at the United Nations General Assembly next week.
Well, these attacks on Saudi Arabia could hit all of us hard. We didn't want to have to know.
The price of Brent crude has been up. At one point, Brent crude futures rose over 19%. Oil prices came down a bit when President Trump announced he is authorizing the release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Even if that release does happen, analysts say we're going to feel the impact of rising oil prices in the U.S. Best case scenario, gas prices will increase about 10 to 25 cents a gallon starting midweek. Worst case, they go up more.
The United Arab Emirates, meantime, reportedly has said OPEC can fill the Saudi oil supply gap if necessary. Both sides are hoping this ends soon, but striking United Auto Workers members say they're resolved as they go on strike against General Motors.
Dozens of union workers stand outside of the GM plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky, holding up signs and chanting they're demanding better pay, more protections, and improved health care coverage. Jack Bowers is the UAW local chapter president.
Strike's not good for anybody at all. Not us, not the community, the whole ball of wax. It's all bad. So I want to get back to work, but I want to get back to work fairly. I want my brothers and sisters treated right.
Thank you.
We want fair and equal wages. And get back to work. Let's do what we do.
A top UAW official is saying if GM had made its latest offer earlier, the union may not have gone on strike. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
3:38, time to get a check on Wall